Hello everybody, great day for Opendoor Technology. And I'm going to show you exactly why it was a great day. Its earnings came out today and it was better than expected. So that's great news. But first things first, make sure you like this video ASAP right away and also subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. Now let's get to the charts and some news that I want to point out to you. Here's a daily chart for Opendoor Technology and we're going to go over that in a few seconds. Here's a weekly chart, daily chart, 4-hour chart, and an hourly chart. Those are the main ones we're going to go over. But first, let's look at the news and their earnings. I'm going to go over the important news and the important data. I'm not going to go over everything. Revenue reported $736 million, significantly exceeding that consensus estimate of approximately $594 million. However, this still represented a 32% year-over-year decline, but stock went up because better than expected. Now here's the big one. EPS reported loss of 1.26 per share, missing the estimate of 0.11, lost by a huge wide margin. But the bottom line was heavily impacted by a $933 million charge related to debt extinguishment. So that's a big factor. So it doesn't look too bad on a company. Operating metrics. Opendoor sold 1,978 homes in the Q4, outperforming estimates by nearly 20%. That's huge right there. 20%. While home purchases increased by 46% quarter over quarter. A lot of people thought Opendoor wasn't doing anything, but they were. They were actually selling houses. So what is the Q1 2026 guidance outlook? Management provided the following guideposts for the first quarter of 2026. Revenue expected to decline approximately 10%, roughly $662 million. Projected loss between $30 million and $35 million. Profitability goal, the company reiterated its target to achieve positive adjusted net income by the end of 2026 on a 12-month forward basis. So they're still looking for positive income by the end of 2026. Once again, the consensus thought Opendoor would have revenue of $596 million, but it was $736 million. Why did this happen? This achievement is part of the company's broader transformation plan, which aims to reach break-even adjusted net income by the end of 2026. The CEO has emphasized improvements in pricing precision and inventory turnover, which are critical to enhancing transaction velocity and strengthening direct-to-consumer relationships. And remember, AI is in play, so AI is also helping Opendoor a lot. Two more important facts I want to show you, and we're going to get to the charts. With a market capitalization of approximately $4.44 billion, Opendoor is positioned within the real estate sector and industry. The company's strategic initiatives have led to 46% increase in home purchases from the previous quarter and a reduction in capital intensity through the expansion of Cash Plus. What is Cash Plus? I'm about to show you in the next clip. It now accounts for 35% of weekly volume. That's big. Inventory holding times have decreased by 23%. They're holding these houses for a lesser period of time, indicating operational efficiency improvement. So yeah, Opendoor. Cash Plus, what is it? Here we go. Opendoor Cash Plus is a hybrid home selling program launched in July 2025, not that long ago. It combines a fast cash offer with the potential for higher profits, which is always good, right? It allows sellers to receive immediate liquidity in as little as 14 days, while Opendoor handles renovations, lists the home on the open market, and shares any net profit with the seller afterwards. So they're making big moves. They're quiet, very quiet, but they are doing things in the background. Let's hope everything keeps looking good for Opendoor. Now let's look at the charts. Opendoor weekly chart looks like this. Long downtrend, about 5 weeks, red. And now we have this green candlestick because of their earnings, and Opendoor is up 16%, currently at $5.41. Now the daily chart, which is very important because I emphasized on this chart in my last video. If you watch my last video, you'll know that I said Opendoor could make some moves this week and we could possibly break the $5 range. And that video was pretty on point. I said we'll possibly hit the $5 before earnings. That didn't happen, but when earnings came out, we did break $5 and we're at $5.43. So that's very, very good. MACD is improving. I emphasized this also in the last video. I said the MACD is improving. Lots of red, but it could be turning green right in this section right here. And that's what you want. You want this to turn green on the daily chart. and you want it to stay green. You don't want it to go green and go back red again, because that means they're selling again. The RSI is improving down here, starting to come up some. It's been consolidating since February 2nd, pretty much going sideways, the RSI. And it's been declining from January 9th. So from January 9th to February 2nd, RSI has been declining. February 2nd to February 17th, it's been going sideways. So that means from February 2nd to February 17th, they were loading Opendoor for some kind of news that it was going to go up. And that's what happened. And the investors who have been loading since February 2nd, they are in around the $4.79 to $5.12. So that means they're already in profit, because right now we're at $5.38. Now here's the 4-hour chart and the 1-hour chart. We can see the big pump from the earnings. So we have this nice green candle right here, and this candle right here looks like it's failing a little bit. So you have to be careful on that. It went to $5.71. So that means we're going to have some resistance between $5.50 to $5.71. Now really quickly, I'm going to show you the trend lines that I put on this chart on my last video. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you where Opendoor is currently at and how these trend lines are going to affect the price. And then after I do that, I'm going to show you what area we're looking for Opendoor to go to next, right? I'm going to put more resistance lines for tomorrow and what prices to look for. So these trend lines are from the last YouTube video I made about Opendoor. I had resistance at 812, 683, 505, 427, and 363. The 363 is if Opendoor had worse than expected earnings. And the 505 was if Opendoor had good earnings. So we didn't hit the 363 because we had better than expected earnings. So that was the support if the earnings were bad. I'm going to delete that one so we won't be confused. So now here we are, 427 and 505. The 427 was the strong support for Opendoor Technology. 505 was the strong resistance for Opendoor Technology. Right now we're at $5.40. So we did break that resistance. But will we revisit the 505? That's something you want to look for. Here we are with the 683. That 683 is if Opendoor continues to pump and go strong. That's the resistance that we're looking for to break at some point. And the 812 is a long-term goal, which means if Opendoor got its feet back under itself and ready to go up again, we need to break $8.12 to even think about $9 and $10. So what to look for tomorrow of Opendoor Technology? Is it going to keep going up? Is it going to go down? Is it going to consolidate? I don't know, but I can show you some support and resistance for Opendoor based on the action on the after hours at the moment. So right now, we're looking at a resistance of Opendoor at around 541. That's going to be the resistance for Opendoor, 541 at the moment. The support we're looking at is going to be right here at the 522. So here we are with the 522 support, 541 resistance. Now, if we don't hold that 522, then that 506 is going to be in play to hold support. If we don't hold 506, then we could go back to the $4 area. And that $4 area that we could revisit if we don't hold that 506 is going to be the $4.83. So that's going to be a nice guide to look for when it comes to trading Opendoor Technology. 541 resistance, 522 support, 506 support, 483 if we can't hold the 506. But what if Opendoor breaks the 540 overnight and pre-market? Well, let's take a look. For that one, we're going to have to look at the 5-minute chart. And based on a 5-minute chart, we're looking at a 560 to 570 resistance. You can't see it on the overnight chart, the 585, but I went back days and days and weeks ago, and there's a 585 resistance. So if we continue to break 540, we're looking at 560 and 585. And those are going to be some strong resistance between 585 and $6. But you do have a guidance of where the price could go to next for Opendoor Technology, and we hope things keep getting better. We are still looking for a positive year for housing. At some point, people are going to want to buy houses this year in 2026. A lot of people are predicting that is going to happen in spring 2026. A lot of people like to buy houses between spring and summer. So the earnings for Opendoor, second quarter, third quarter is going to be very important to look for, and we could see some big improvements in those earnings. Opendoor could be back on its way to $10 again. So yeah, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment. It helps out a lot, and it also gives me ideas on what video to make next. Take care.